Okay, let's just take a quick look at this. So those of you that have had Coastal with me will recognize this as one of the projects we've been working on for the last 20 years. So essentially what we have is we have this database, and there are various questions off of here to the right. And so in this case, this is all one question. And the stuff over here in these first few rows are just logistics, when it was done, what year, that kind of stuff, location, etc. And then we get into it. So some questions are open-ended, such as this word association, which is essentially a blank on the survey sheet, and people can write whatever the heck they want in there. Others are, tell me a number. So how much seafood did you eat over the last over the last week, right? And then others, which what most of them are like, it's tick a box. Is it yes or no or unsure, or is it sometimes, every time, that kind of thing. So that's how the data are entered. And so all of the data have before you get to the actual answer, there's a thing that says answered each question. That means, did the person respond to that question? So you guys can imagine, as we've done almost 20,000 of these now over the years, in some cases, people answer every question. In other cases, people are like, I don't know, or I don't want to look stupid, or I don't know. So sometimes people just skip a question, sometimes they stop the survey, what have you. So we always record if there was a response given. If there's a response given, we put a 1. So 1 here is for the most part, is like a check mark, right? So yes, someone said that box, that's a 1. A 0 in the answered would tell you that, for whatever reason, no one answered that, or the survey got wet and so we couldn't read it or something, right? Basically, there's no data for that particular thing. Okay, so in this case, this particular person, and you can only say one thing. In this case, what's this question? This question is, have you ever avoided going to beaches because there's a longer question there, but because people made you feel uncomfortable or not welcome or whatever. So you only tick one of those boxes. So the answer is not both yes and no, it's just yes or no, right? If someone did not answer that question, like right here, it gets a 0 in the answered column because no one answered that. But then there's no data in those next columns, right? And that's important because it's not a 0. It's not they didn't answer. So in this column, this person was unsure. They ticked the I don't know box, or the unsure box. So they did not say yes, they did not say no, so we've entered a 0 there. But this person didn't answer anything to any of those questions. And so therefore, the answer gets a 0, but then the responses get nothing, because we don't know if it was a no or not. You guys get what I'm saying? Okay, good. And then, so we have the fill in the blank ones. We have the ones where they tick a box, and then we have ones like this guy, which is how much in ounces. How much seafood did you eat over the last 7 days? And so for all these ones that are other than just the tick the box. So for example, this guy says, when you hear about California, what do you think of? Right? So people put a word in there or a short phrase. And so here, this person has said the beach. This person said waves. This person says beaches. This person said Hollywood. This person said nice houses, right? All that kind of stuff. And so this is the raw thing, whatever he or she typed into their, or wrote into their thing. But then this is a way to standardize it. So notice that here it says beaches, we're considering that beach. And the beach, we're considering that beach, right? So we've gone through and done a lot of that for you, but there's still some cleaning up that needs to be done. And so that's one of the types of tools that OpenRefine can help us with, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So let's take a look. So that's the, okay, sorry. The other thing I should say, so there's, so the data starts in 2005, and I've been doing these polls since the mid-90s, and it doesn't matter for you guys, but so when I came here, we started this in 2005, and it was 100% only just for us. It was like a class activity, right? But around 2006, 2007, some of our partners in the Park Service and elsewhere, because we surveyed some people, I shall say we do these are all public surveys. So to people that we encounter at beaches, in a mall, in a shopping center, all that kind of stuff, right? And so sometimes people go to a park. So people were at the park at Channel Islands National Park, and they said, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, it's a survey of how people think about the coast and how they behave in and around the coast." And they said, "Oh, can we see that?" I'm like, "Oh, no, dude, it's not for you. It's just a class activity." And they go, "We don't have any data like that. So can you please share it with us next time?" We're like, "What?" So then we expanded it after 2007. So you'll see the sample size go up and various things get a little more standardized after 2007. So the other thing to say is, just before we leave this, is every year the survey changes a bit. So there's some questions, like the endangered species question, we've been asking every year, or essentially every year that we've ever done the poll. Others, some questions we ask just once one time, and because it was a thing, and then goes away. And others, we might ask them for several years while that's a thing people are worried about, and then we might drop off. So there's a mix. So very few questions are asked every single year exactly the same. And that's just sort of the nature of the beast of long-term research. Cool? Okay. So when you go to look at this, you're not going to find. So this year is 2017, right? The beaches on 2017. But if I go up to, this year, we weren't asking that in 2005, so there's just no data there. 2005, 2006, et cetera. Does that make sense? Does that make sense of the structure of the data? Okay. All right. So now let's turn to OpenRefine. So again, OpenRefine is a tool that you guys download, and it looks like an application, but when you turn it on, it's going to open up through your browser, whatever your default browser is. Okay, and so I've done that, and I've clicked it, and it's opened up, and this is basically what it looks like. So can everybody see this? I don't know if I can make it bigger. Let's see if I can. Is that better? Okay. So in this case, we're just starting it now. So all I did was say, turn the program on and say, go find this file, open this file, okay? So the first thing, once I do that, I'm gonna look at this, and I just wanna do a little inspection. Okay, so this is a little hard with this zoomed in. Let me zoom it out again just for a second. Okay, so again, this is our right panel. This is our main, what the data looks like, the tabular data. These are all the cool tools and stuff. Right now, it just says stuff about projects, because we haven't started it. We haven't created the project. So we open it up, and then we need to, if it looks cool, if it doesn't look right, we can back out, and we can maybe, say, oh, it was a comma separated file, or it was a space separated file. We can do any of that adjustment. But in this case, it looks pretty good. I can see there's location, and it's got these different locations, Starbucks, Camarillo, all this kind of, okay, so it looks kind of good. All right, good. Okay. And then I'm going to go up here and say create project. Let's get a think for a second. Okay, cool. Okay, so now I'm in my project. Okay, here we go, cool. So now this is the main thing where we can start doing our data cleaning, etc. So I can do whatever I think I need to do. So in this case, I mentioned to you guys, hey, maybe we named our cities weird, or maybe we, whatever. Okay, so here, check it out. Each of my columns has a pull down button, and right here I can choose how many rows I want to be displayed. This is not saying that, to be clear, this is not saying my data set is 10 rows. It's just showing me, they're all in the memory, they're all there. It's just to make it a little bit faster or easier to see. So I could say, oh dude, I want to see 50 rows at a time, and it'll show me 50 rows at a time. It's whatever is convenient for you in the particular data set, etc. Okay. And here's that undo and redo stuff, right? If I click one of these guys, like say this pull down, it's going to give me some different options. It's going to give me, so there's facets over here, but if I go to here and say text facet, numeric facet, all these kind of things. So these facets, again, are ways to talk about trimming or merging the data or doing some kind of cleaning to the data. So, okay. I've clicked on 7. Hold on, let me get out of here for a second. Okay, so 7 is the name of the place. So people could have put whatever the name was, park in Ventura, blah, 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 blah. And so that's going to be super non-standard. We've done a first pass and said where the city that survey took place in, and then the county where that survey took place in. Cool. So I can, let's take a look at county, might be a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to say, okay, facet, let's make a text facet. It's going to think for a second. And then what it's done is it's gone through and it's grabbed all of the data in that column and put it into a different, a group. So let's have a look. Let me see if I can make this bigger for you guys to see. Is that easier to see? Okay, so this says Alameda County. There's 4. There's a place called Collin County, 1. There's a place called County. That looks like that might be an error. 1. There's Dallas County, 1. El Dorado, Humboldt, Kern. Los Angeles with a lowercase l. Check it out. There's 3 of those. And then there's about 3,000 Los Angeleses. And there's 145 Los Angeleses, which it looks like there's probably an extra space in there, right? And there's 56 of these Los Angeles, maybe there's extra 2 spaces, or I don't know what's. And then there's 25 Los Angeles counties, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Everybody with me? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So now so this one looks pretty good. I'm suspecting that Los Angeles is right, but let's say this guy looks a little wrong, right? This 56. Okay. So what if I click that dude? If I click it, now it's going to immediately jump and just show me all of those. All of the data, all of the rows that in that column have this particular Los Angeles. So I can look at it, I can inspect it, I can put my cursor in there and check it out or whatever I want to do, etc. And if I look, check it out. There it is right there. Look, it says LOS, looks like space, and then it's like Angeles, and there's an extra space there. So, okay, so I gotta fix that. Okay, cool. So if I come up here and I get rid of that space, is there 2 spaces here? No, there's 1. Okay, so there's just 1 space. I say, okay, cool. And then I say apply, and now that's gone. So that fast, right? So all the stuff you guys were doing before, your hand doing it, now you can boom, 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 boom. And when we have a lot of data that are really similar with some of the automated routines, it'll also suggest that for you. But that's the basic idea, right? If I didn't like that, if something was wrong, if I went, oh my gosh, no, there actually is a Los Angeles space, right? I can just come here to the undo redo, and I can step back, right? And so every time I do one of these edits, it's going to be a step. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So I could jump back to last step. I could jump back to 10 steps ago. I could jump back to whatever the heck. Cool? Okay. One other thing I just want to show you before I let you guys start to play around and look around with stuff is, so this guy, or let's see, let's find another one that's how about, I can ask it to get things that are similar, right? So some cases, I might just, Los Angeles is pretty easy, but what if it was like a bunch of words where Los Angeles was but one part of it? I can use some of this machine learning skills to sort of, go through and adjust and have it make some best guesses as to how to fix stuff. And again, I can also add and expand, I can merge columns, I can add a new column, etc. Best practice always is to remember to save a copy of our data before we mess with it. So that always applies whether we're using OpenRefine or not. So you always want to save your bad boy, save your original dude before you start going in and messing with stuff.